Okay guys, quick update with Bitcoin. I'm going to give you key support and resistance levels to pay attention to. So far, this pattern that I predicted price would be in is playing out perfectly. I'll show you again how I was able to predict this pattern before anybody else. Most importantly, I'm going to give you some invalidation points. So if we break below 40,950, I'm going to show you the next point to go long. Obviously, break above a key point, we're probably going to go sideways, get some chop, and go much higher. So I want to make sure you have those upside and downside targets. But remember, in my previous video, my prediction is, well, you need to watch that video if you want to know that. But again, this is more for invalidation points. Also, I gave you a point to short ADA. I'm going to show you the next point too long if we continue down. And guys, if you're located in the US, looking for an exchange to trade on, CoinCash is a great option. It is no KYC, and in some cases, some states in the US, you do not even need a VPN. So jump on that while you can. The link for CoinCash is pinned in the first comment and description. Two other great exchanges to trade on are BitGet and BingX. Those links are pinned in the first comment description as well. If you want to learn how to trade, this is a tutorial video I put up about trading on BitGet. Set up a long, short, stop loss, trigger orders, all that. Once you learn how to trade on one, you can trade on them all. I'll put a link in this video now if you want to check it out. If you want to get access to our Discord, you can sign up to the charts. The link's pinned in the first comment and description. Make sure you email me through the website to get access to Discord. So let's go back. So I've been talking about this pattern that we were in. Said Bitcoin. Give me your upside downside targets. So I was showing you the current pattern we were in. Every time I click on it, every time I roll over it changes. But you can see I was showing you a pattern we were in, and then pattern confirmed right here. And this is the last video I was telling you. Look, a video before I said you were short 43,345. Next point to long is 40,806. I'll put in this video now if you want to check it out. And remember what I've been saying, guys. I said, look, and you can see right here it says bear market territory, bull run territory. I said at any point we cross this blue ring, expect some upside. If we cross this orange ring, expect some downside. We can see what happened. We pushed above this blue ring and we shot straight up. Notice we got rejected right here. This is another chart. This is what I showed in the previous video. Again, you can see how this predicts patterns in advance. This is how I was able to predict the pattern we're in now. Remember, this is the blue ring I said too short, but anytime we cross it to go long. And you can see what happened. And this is the pattern we're in. The way I create these charts, we can find tops and bottoms before anybody else. That's how I knew that this is the pattern we're in. This was our resistance, support, and support. So now this is your resistance. This is the pattern we're in. So if we break down, this is a point you would long. If we push up, this is a point you would scalp a short, but expect more upside. Again, once we break above this key resistance, probabilities are we go sideways and much higher. This is on the 2 hour. So again, the last video I said to go long at 40,800 around that area. So your next resistance level to pay attention to, and it does look like this is the pattern we're in, depending on when we make contact, 42,900, potentially 42,834. So the invalidation point would be if we get above that point and hold support, well, we're going much higher. The first resistance to pay attention to is around 43,691 for a scalp short. Again, if we get above this resistance right here, I get bullish from our upside, but it could just be some chop before we push up. Your next most major resistance level above that. And keep in mind, guys, while you see one pattern, it can be a pattern within a pattern. So let's say that we continue up. We break above this point, we get rejected here, push back up. Well, now we're probably in a channel, something like this. They could play out for a while. But you do have your points to pay attention to. If we do break down, so guys, here's what I'm saying. In my previous video, I was telling you my prediction was that we would hold support here, right? I've already told you this is a point you short, this is a point you long, this is a point you short. Now, if we push up, this is a point you have a chance to short, all right? So if we get rejected here, come down and break this point, well, we know we're headed down to this orange ring. Every time we hit the orange ring, we always get a bounce, so that'd be a point to go long. But the invalidation point to the upside is if we break above 42,700 wherever we make contact, because this does seem the pattern we're in. This is a bullish pattern. All right, this would be a continuation pattern, but it can break either way. The most important thing is if we break below, we know where our key support level is now. We know it's around 40,900, so we know if we come down, this would be the point you long. I'll give you those price targets. This is on the daily. Again, this is just so I can just kind of be zoomed out a little bit. Remember, this is blue ring. Said once it became support, this is where you would go long. And as I've been saying, at any point we cross, this orange ring historically has been support. So either we make contact with it sooner, which will be much lower, or we make contact with it later, it will be support and we'll push up. At any point we cross it, that is when you want to go short. We will come back, I'll give you those support and resistance levels. This is the D1 chart, just to give you this key resistance level, and we'll look for some confluence, but you can see 42,200 is a very key resistance level, so do pay attention to that. Not only do we have a fib channel line here that's been previously resistance, support, a lot of resistance, we also have a trend line here to pay attention to. So that is your most key closest resistance level right now. It's around 42,150. If we get above that, as I said, 45,000 is going to be a very key resistance level to pay attention to. And we'll come back to those key support resistance levels. Just want to cover really quick. I will give you the smaller support resistance levels on the H1 chart. ADA, I told you 0.2 short was right here around 65 cents. And the reason for that, guys, the way I create these charts, I find the direction price is moving, and then I basically just create fib channels that match price action, and that's how I got this target. So if we do continue down, your next 0.2 chance along is going to be right around 50 cents for ADA. If that does break, though, guys, we have a long ways to go down, potentially 29 cents. And as I said, if we push above, all right, so if you push above 65 cents, whenever we make contact with this fib channel line in this direction, that's the point you would want to go short. And directly above us is around 87 cents, and obviously that gets lower as price moves on. So let me go back to these really quick and let's cover some of these targets. Okay, guys? So I gave your upside target. Okay, so pay attention, your most key resistance. And let's compare this. So 42,757, I think this one was 42,150. So 42,150 is the key resistance, your closest resistance to pay attention to. Take note that this is the daily, all right? This blue moving average is this is the center Bollinger Band on the daily. That is now our resistance. If we stay below that and move sideways, that is bearish. However, if we get back above that, just remember 42,150 is your key resistance to pay attention to, all right? So if we get a push up, that would be a point to scalp a short. If you get above that hold support, we're looking at some more upside up to 42,800 around that area. If we get above that hold support, these are your key resistance levels to pay attention to. If we break below 40,936, so let's say we come right back down, we break this. The next point to scalp a short, to scalp along, and guys, the reason I say scalp along is because we will be breaking down from a larger pattern, headed down to one of these orange rings, which historically we always catch a bounce when we hit it. So look, we could drop all the way down. I'm not saying we have to, but I think the lowest point, so if we broke below 40,900, let's say today, tomorrow, the lowest point I think we would go, you can see there's a lot of confluence around here, around 37,500 up to potentially 38,000. The sooner we fall, the lower we go, but I do know we will catch a bounce on this orange ring, all right? So if it's later on, so let's say we do push up, right? Let's say we push up and we get rejected here and come back down, all right? And then we break down, it takes longer. The longer it takes to break below this point, the higher that target becomes. But again, when you make contact, that is when you go long. It depends when you make contact. Sooner we break, lower we go. The longer it takes, the higher that point becomes. And as I mentioned before, I do expect us to get a bounce, but if we're already below this point, that's a lot of resistance to potentially send us back down, break this orange ring. As I mentioned before, once we cross that orange ring, historically that means we have a lot of downside. That being said, if we were above this key resistance level, and then we make contact, then we have a lot more upside. So I want you to pay attention to that. And this is the same chart, guys. This is on the daily. But again, this is the pattern we're in. So just to give you an idea, we could come all the way down to 39,000 around that area. And your current resistance right now to pay attention to is around 42,830 if we get above 42,150. Again, right here, key fib channel line to pay attention to. And just on this chart right here, you can see that this was, it became resistance support. That's right around 39,362. If we broke below that, it happened sooner. That's what I'm talking about. Pay attention to this price target. This is a very key support and resistance level. You have this fib channel line here, and you have this ring. So those are your main targets to pay attention to if we have a massive drop or if you break down from that pattern. This is your, so this is on the smaller time frame. Now we are above this fib channel line here. We'll have to pay attention to it. Notice it got rejected at this blue fib channel line here. It became resistance, pushed above it. This is the last one I talked about, potentially short. So right now we are above this. We'll just have to see. We're teetering on it. I'd be very cautious. I'd pay attention to the targets I gave you on this previous charts. But if this does become resistance, 41,380, your next key support level below will be around 40,333. But that will be bearish because that means we will be breaking below this pattern, right? Hold on, guys. That means we will be breaking below. Where's the 2-hour version? All right, yeah, that means we will be breaking below this point here, okay? So that is your key support level. Once we break below this, yes, we could come back up and test it as resistance, and then we have much more downside. That being said, if we break below this, test it as resistance and push back up into it, that is actually bullish. But again, my prediction, I would go back and watch the last video. I went into more detail about it. But I do think what's more likely to play out, we'll push up, we'll get rejected, we'll come down, might get a little fake bounce, we'll eventually break this, we'll come down, test one of these targets, get a bounce, push back up, get rejected, cross this, and then we have a lot of downside. How much? We'll have to see. But that's pretty much it, guys. Just pay attention to these key levels. H1 chart is for smaller time frames. And remember, if you want to get access to these charts, the website sign up is pinned first comment description. And as I said, guys, if you're located in the U.S. looking for exchange to trade on, and you want to jump in this while you can, remember CoinCatch, no KYC. In some states in the U.S., you don't need a VPN. Otherwise, guys, BingX and Bitkit is a great option for you. Make sure you watch this tutorial video. Well, guys, that's it. I will keep you updated. Trade safe, trade smart. I'm out.